I had developed my portfolio piece, and it was so good that I didn't want to just keep it on my website and just show potential clients. And it has been so well received that it got mentioned in a full page write-up in the local newspaper. I was interviewed on the radio, being invited to talk at the LearnX Awards this year.
Having an effective instructional design portfolio can really open doors for you when you're looking to break into the instructional design field. That's why in today's video, I want to share with you the minimalist but still beautiful and effective portfolio from Sally Castle that led to her project being featured in local news media and an ID conference speaking invitation. Let's check out Sally's portfolio together to see what she did to get so much attention on her work. I'm Scott, a bootcamp pro on the DevImpact team. I got to work really closely with Sally as she was building her flagship project that would eventually be featured on what would become her standout portfolio. Sally was great to work with because she was always so enthusiastic about the work, and she was an active participant in the feedback process as we worked together to ensure that her work was top-notch. She's been working in the learning and development and instructional design fields for many years, but now she's using this project and this standout portfolio to help jumpstart her freelance instructional design business. Be sure to stick around toward the end of the video where you will hear directly from Sally as she describes her experience in instructional design and in the bootcamp. But for now, let's go ahead and start taking a look at her standout portfolio and what makes it so great. All right, so if we take a look here, right away from the get-go, the one thing you're going to notice is, and I mentioned this before, but Sally used a minimalist approach to designing this portfolio, but she used design principles in such a great way that even the minimalist look is so beautiful and effective. All right. Starting right away with her header section, she's got her branded logo here. That's good to identify herself and set herself apart from other folks. You can see she's also branded her website and herself as Sally's Learning Lab, which is a little bit more unique than just using like her first and last name, or sometimes folks will use their last name, LXD, things like that. Sally went with a more unique approach and branded the name of like her business, okay? And then of course out here to the right, portfolio, about, contact, very clear, very easy to understand, easy to read links, and easy to find, all right? But the thing that really just impresses me about this homepage is this hero section. This is such an impressive and professional hero section. All right, this image is absolutely stunning with all the wonderful, bright, inviting colors. A really fantastic shot of Sally, looking, she's smiling, she's looking enthusiastic and happy. She looks like somebody you'd want to work with. And beyond that, just the subtle little things that make this so great. The text here, this would normally be a little bit difficult to read against all these different colors. So instead of just, blocking out with a solid color a section for this text, she used this sort of like faded out glow effect behind the text that makes it easy to read. It's just such an impressive and sleek, but still minimalist way to ensure that this text is easy to read. And then of course, she follows great text hierarchy here. This text, the headline here, "Hi, I'm Sally," this is clearly noticeable as bigger and bolder than the subheadline. She's incorporated these fun underlining features that aren't overpowering in the subheadline. She's got a "See My Work" button, "Get in Touch." We can very quickly navigate to her portfolio or her contact page, which are great calls to action right there in the hero section. So really fantastic job with that. Now moving down here, there's not a lot going on here. There really isn't. but because of the bright muted but still vibrant color that she's used, this looks stunning to me. It's super effective. She's labeled this as featured project. She's got a big bold headline. Notice it's not just like, the name of a project. This is a slogan. She really branded this project. It's not funny, don't lose your money. And we'll talk a little bit about this project later. All right. But just notice here, this is a catchy headline. All right. And it's easy to read text. The dark color, which isn't quite black, it looks really nice with this muted blue. We've got a simple image of the project and some simple text related to it. There's not much going on here, but because of the layout, the positioning, the text hierarchy, it works so well. Looking over here at the description, she's used bolding to quickly identify the different pieces of information here, which is really, really good because, as you may be familiar with, you go to a website, you scan it first, right? Doing the bolding like this really helps with scannability, okay? And you'll notice that she uses this throughout, this bolding strategy, to really draw attention to the different pieces of information so that people know exactly what they're going to get. And then she's got to learn more that will go directly to a page that describes this project. So a good call to action there, okay? This is something that's really unique and interesting. She is using this section right here on her homepage to promote the fact that she's actually implementing this project into the real world. She's actively having real learners go through this project. All right. This is great social proof of the effectiveness of the project and the effectiveness of Sally's work. All right. And if you look here, the text hierarchy is great too. She's still using consistent fonts and everything here. She's bolded the dates and times, and then she's got the location. She says, if you want to find out more or can't find a session near you, get in touch. Reach out to her. It's another call to action for people to reach out to her to learn more. Okay. Now, notice that in this next section, you may have noticed that she mentioned at the top of the video that this project was featured on the radio and in print media in the newspaper. And here she's promoting that fact. Okay. And one thing I really like about this is she shifted gears from the blue to the white. All right. It's a clear indication, hey, this is new information. This is something different you should pay attention to. All right. But you got to be careful with this because it can have a striping effect if you're not careful. The reason it works so well here is that this section is large enough that it's almost feels like a new section and not just a small stripy snippet of the web page. Really great job with that here. I really like that. The reason this works so well too is because look at all the spacing. Everything's got good breathability. There's nice spacing around things. There's no cluttering here. Even up here, everything is nicely spaced so that it's clearly distinctive. The parts are clearly distinct from each other. Now she's shifted to the like charcoal looking color here. Again, we have a whole brand new section. And this is where she's got her testimonials, which again is further social proof. So really great job of using that. Here we switch gears back to the white. Now this is not a large section, all right? So it could potentially have that striping effect. But I think this is really good. And it's because she again uses that good spacing. Lots of white space above and below this text and between the elements, that this doesn't look super stripy to me. Plus, this is a great way to draw attention to the fact that she wants people to reach out to her to learn more about what she can offer to potential clients. All right. So I think this was really smart. Again, there's not a lot going on here, but it's effective and simple and minimalist, but really beautiful at the same time. And then finally, look in her footer. This is another really great strategy that she used. When people navigate to the bottom of the page, their eyes are naturally at the bottom of the screen. Why not reintroduce those links that were in the header? Why not reintroduce them here as well? Okay. Now, granted, you'll notice that she hasn't made her header sticky, which means it stays in view at all times. So yes, we do have those links available in the header, the whole time. But again, people's eyes are naturally at the bottom of the page. Why not give them the option to click them there as well? All right. Also, you notice she's reintroduced her logo to reinforce her branding, and she's offered a way for people to view her LinkedIn page. So, and if you look here, again, super minimalist, not a lot going on, but it's very sleek and still beautiful because of, I think, especially because of the pop of the blue, and the rounded nature of the font is very inviting and warm. Okay. Super, super fantastic and effective homepage. All right, let's navigate to her portfolio where she really features that main project, the "It's not funny, don't lose your money." All right, now you see she shifted to the white background, which is another excellent strategy because there's going to be a lot of text on this page, and it's always safer to just go with dark text on a light background if you're going to have lots of text. You could go the other way where you have a dark background with white text. She's just decided to go with the white background with the dark text. Excellent, excellent strategy here because readability is number one. But again, look at the hierarchy. The headline, the subheadline, she's got a couple of buttons. You can go directly and try the project out yourself, or you can get in touch with her. She's always offering you convenient ways to take action from her website, whether it's to look at the project, experience the project, or reach out to her. And she's using this kind of light bluish teal color, the charcoal color, and white as her main colors throughout. Very minimal, but she's used those colors in a way that's so beautiful. And then again, we've got an image here representing the project. Really good. Notice she's using the bolding again to draw your attention to the different categories of information you can find. Now, because she's not going to use different colored backgrounds for the different sections, she's incorporated this kind of line element, which really kind of matches up nicely with the underlining. So really subtle, but effective way to separate the sections of this page. Here, you're going to see that we're going to get into a write-up for this project that she did, and she's got everything super consistent here. All of the headings are formatted the same. The spacing is the same. Look below the heading and above the text for that section. Look at the spacing. It's consistent throughout. Really well done there. Even the spacing between sections is consistent. And those are great things to do, great design principles to follow. Because the one thing you don't want people to do is really to focus on the design. You just want them focusing on the content and feeling like this is such an easy site and a page to navigate. But again, she's got her text here. Here, look, she's incorporating the bolding again. So if you don't want to read all the descriptions, you could just quickly read the bolded bullet points, and then you're good if you wanted to. Okay, we've got an image representing this, the solution. She's got an image representing this. And this is one thing that I want you to notice throughout too. This is a great strategy as well. She's included captions for her images. Okay, the reason that's such a great idea is because people may skip over the text completely, right? And they may just jump straight to the images. And so if you don't include a caption that describes what the image is, the learner may not be able to make the connection and may not know what that represents. If they read the text, of course, they probably will know what the image is. But if they choose not to, giving them that brief description with a caption is a really, really, really good idea. Again, we have a button to experience the project or get in touch. Easy ways to incorporate calls to action. My process, she describes that. Action map, she's got a large image. Here's the caption again. As I scroll through here, you're just going to notice those consistent design elements that work so well together. Okay. Visual mock-ups, we've got an image there. Here, this is an interesting strategy, which I think is super effective. She's talking about her visuals and how she designed those. And instead of just having these images with the captions, she's included these little headings from this to this. So I clearly know what this represents. Clearly, Sally took this image and she modified it to look like this to match the feel of the vibe of the project that she was creating. All right. Again, super simple thing, but makes a huge difference. Here, look here. She's incorporated a video element. She has some interactive and animated elements in her project that she wants to highlight. So she did that here with this video. It's a 9-second video, very short. You can kind of get a snippet of some of the animation and interaction that she included, but she still has that caption here to help. Here we've got a side-by-side how she kind of used this wireframe to inform the design of this element that appears in her project, so that's great. Here we've got another image representing this. Interactive prototype. Again, as I scroll through here, you'll just notice how sleek everything is, how organized everything is, and how consistent everything is. She did include this thing. Here's what people have said about this project. And she included even more social proof by including a link to a video where her project was featured. Her project was actually featured in this video on the Devin Peck YouTube channel. That's how good it was. So yeah, and here we've got even more reminders of that social proof where we've got a link to the newspaper story, and she's got an image of the newspaper. So it's clearly proof that this was featured in that newspaper, and it just further solidifies how great this project was. Now, Sally's flagship project is really the star of the show on her portfolio. So I want to take just a couple of minutes and show you what made her project so great. So let's go ahead and take a look at it now. All right, so now Sally used Beyond Animation for almost this entire project. She incorporated the videos into a storyline interaction so that she could have these buttons here and you can click and choose answer choices. But all of the storytelling is done through Beyond, okay? Now, she also created 2 completely separate versions of the project, one with these speech bubbles and one that's completely 100% audio. And she used real voice actors for that. She used herself as one of the voices and hired other people to do the other characters. So there's no AI generated voices. Sounds very natural. All right. I'm going to use the one with the speech bubbles to move it along a little more quickly. But watch this. I want you to notice the cinematic effects. Look, we've got some panning, some zooming here. Character is thinking. Character is going to think something else. And then I want you to watch this. It pans over to the phone. She could have just cut screen to that, but she panned over to it. Now we see the phone. We really get that cinematic effect. This is what we're going to do. We're going to engage with this phone call. I'm just going to choose an answer. And then look at this. We bring in the character that we're talking to using this split screen effect. That is just a really strong, effective cinematic effect that you can add to your projects when you're expressing a phone call. But then look, there's going to be parts where, look, we're zooming in on the person speaking, the character speaking. This way, we really can focus on that character. We're not distracted by backgrounds or anything else. I'm going to click continue. Now we see her thinking here, and I'm going to click continue. Now I get to make an answer choice. So this is where storyline comes in. This was built in storyline. Okay, so I'm going to choose an answer choice. We see the character speaking again based on my answer. We see this character, my character. All right. Now again, we're getting the cinematic, and then did you see the character slide out of there? That animation is it's very engaging. Now we see my character, the storytelling is moving along. We can clearly tell what's happening here. Oh no, she's got a zero balance. Now she's going to call her bank. And look, we bring in this character. Still using that split screen effect for consistency, which is good. But it is a completely different character, different background, and we move on that way. Character slides out, and now we see, oh no, this has not worked out very well. She's very upset, and then I click try again, and I can go back to where I was, all right? Just the storytelling and the cinematic effects using the animation in Beyond are just really, really well done. The story feels very immersive when you're going through this learning experience. So, and this is what it's like throughout the whole learning experience. So just a really, really fantastic project that she put a lot of time and effort in to really make super engaging for the learner. All right, let's go to her About page. All right, so we've shifted back to the kind of blue teal color here. I really love Sally's About Me page because, again, it's still minimalist and simple, but fun and interesting to look at the same time. She starts with this bold headline, About Me. Look at the image. The one thing that I really like about this image, it matches and goes with her hero image. All right, it's consistent. It has a consistent feel. a consistent vibe by including that. So really great job of including this. Notice she's incorporated the circle shape. We haven't really seen circle shapes so far. And that a lot of times can be a bad thing because if you're mixing sharp angles with the more rounded, that can look a little bit disjointed and inconsistent, but it's so minimal. It's just a little bit of, hey, look, here's a circle image just to add a little bit more visual interest to what you've been seeing. So I think it's super effective. She uses this first section to talk about her professional career as it relates to her About Me page. So she does that very brief, not a lot of reading here. So people can get that from her. Get in touch, another call to action. Then look at this next section. She's using the white again. She's clearly separating the sections with background color. Look at these beautiful boxes, right? This could have just been, bullet points with headings on them, but she decided to include just a little bit of visual design by including these boxes, still keeping that color scheme. All right, the charcoal, there are little bits of this kind of like muted gold color, but look, that's in her logo. So it fits, it works. What I'm good at, what I can do, very, very clear things where she's saying, this is what you can expect from me because this is what I'm good at and this is what I can do for you. All right. The drop shadows, just that added little visual appeal, but it's very minimal. It's not overpowering. So really excellent job with that. Now we come down to the section where she talks about her and her personal life, who she is as a person outside of work. All right, things I love. She's got another brief section. She's still using the circles, but now look, she's added even a little bit more visual appeal by overlapping these circles, right? It's an interesting way to position these circles. And notice even that this circle here is smaller than the other two, which again adds a little bit of depth and texture to these images. All right. She only has 3 images, but they're powerful. They really express who she is, and it shows that she's a real person outside of her work life. So really fantastic. Notice it follows the same format. Look up here. Heading, text, image to the right. Heading, text, images to the right. So that's that consistency. It just feels like the flow of the page works so well. And then again, finally, she's got another button to get in touch with her. She's providing you lots of ways to interact with her and providing lots of those calls to action. And again, we've got the consistent footer here. All right. So finally, her contact page. You talk about minimal. This is a perfect example, but it's really effective. Remember that the purpose of this page is to get people to fill out this form. What I really like is she didn't include a lot of extra stuff at the top of this page. You load this page, you immediately see the form. Nobody has to scroll down to see this form. The form is right there. It's very obvious what's there and what it's for. She has this get in touch and a super simple statement that she says, if you're looking for a freelance e-learning designer who can bring learning ideas to life, you can reach me by completing the form. That's it. She doesn't want to draw attention away from actually filling out the form. That's an excellent strategy. This page, very short, very minimal, but that's okay because its sole purpose is to get people to fill out the forms. But again, look at the spacing. The hierarchy is still good. Everything just has a nice flow to it here. Super great way to design this. Very effective, super minimal, but still beautiful in my opinion. And then, of course, we've got the consistent footer down here as well. So again, overall, just a really amazing standout portfolio here. So you can see how Sally incorporated a minimalist approach along with strong visual design principles to create a portfolio website that is simple and is minimalist, but is still super beautiful and very effective. So great work, Sally, on that fantastic portfolio. And remember, she is open to freelance instructional design opportunities. So if you are looking for an instructional designer that can do some great work for you, as evidenced by this portfolio, consider reaching out to Sally to see how she might be able to help you out. At this point, why don't we go ahead and listen to Sally herself describe her professional career in instructional design and her journey through the Devlin Peck ID Bootcamp.
I was working at the local hospital here doing instructional design work and managing the learning management system. And even though I didn't have the official title of instructional designer, I was actually doing instructional design work. And I actually felt like an imposter. I could see the difference in the quality of the e-learning courses that subject matter experts had made compared with the ones that the hospital had bought from professional instructional design companies. And I knew I sat somewhere in between, but I could also see the gap of where I wanted to be. Around that same time, I had also set myself a big goal, which was to go out on my own and have my own freelance instructional design business. And I knew that I needed to have a portfolio piece and a website as well for that to show potential clients. And I had to be honest with myself. I knew that that wasn't going to happen unless I had the structure and support of a course. And so those are the two reasons why I decided to sign up for the boot camp. The thing that's enticing about instructional design is that I get to use the skills and knowledge that I have from my 15 years of experience in learning and development. And I have lots of experience in being able to explain very clearly complex topics. The benefit of instructional design is that I get to elevate my level of creativity, and especially in the digital realm. And so I get to use, instead of cutting up bits of paper for students to interact with each other for, I get to use lots of colorful digital methodologies and images and animations. Instructional design is right for me, and I decided that because I wanted to move into the sort of digital platform area, into the e-learning design space, moving away from classroom and face-to-face learning. I still find myself doing that every now and then, but I do really enjoy that digital realm and the space of being able to share learning experiences with a huge population right across Australia if need be. I learned a lot from the boot camp, and of course, as I'd been already making some e-learning courses before, and I had already been following Devlin Peck YouTube videos and instructions for a while before I joined the boot camp, I had some knowledge already of how to use Articulate. But what the boot camp really taught me was the overall process of going through identifying a problem and trying to solve the real world problem, thinking about the audience, making a mind map or an action map, I should say, and doing the style guide. Not only that, I built a website. That is something that I never thought that I'd be able to do. So there was a whole heap of deliverable that I had never had to do in my work before, that I had the opportunity to really hone my skills and learn about. Now that I've completed the boot camp, I'm still working for the hospital as a manager of the learning management system and as an instructional designer, but I don't feel like an imposter anymore. I also have my business up and running and open to new opportunities to receive clients and also kind of provide solutions to their training problems. I learned so much in the boot camp, and I had developed my portfolio piece, and it was so good that I didn't want to just keep it on my website and just show potential clients. I wanted to make it effective in the community because it really is solving a real world problem. So I shared it with the community in some neighborhood houses, community houses, and I've received really good feedback, a really positive feedback from the people. the participants in the workshops. And it has been so well received that it got mentioned in a full-page write-up in the local newspaper, as well as I was interviewed on the radio about this portfolio piece. And not only that, all of this has culminated in being invited to talk and give a short presentation about my portfolio piece and the impact that it's having in the community at the LearnX Awards this year. So that's a really good sign. It's really validating that the quality of the portfolio piece is very high.
Thanks to Sally for sharing her story and her work. Now, if you'd like to go through the Devlin Peck Bootcamp like Sally did and work with a Bootcamp Pro to develop your own flagship project and standout portfolio, go to idbootcamp.com. The link is in the description. We are currently in the middle of a launch right now, but we still encourage you to go to that website and learn more about how we can help you build your instructional design skills. With that, I will say goodbye and we'll see you in the next video.